So I have Amanda Lopez with me today. She is the owner of Picture Perfect Kitchen and Home. And I'm so excited to hear all the things that she's been working on in the last few years and what's coming up next. So Amanda, welcome to the Business Owner Spotlight Series.
Thanks, Juliet. Happy to be here.
I'm excited to learn more from you. And if you would just give us a quick 30-second, less than a minute introduction of yourself and what you do over at Picture Perfect Kitchen and Home.
I know it's a mouthful.
Okay, I got it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so historically, we've always been a kitchen and bath remodeling firm. We go in, we remodel your kitchen, make it all beautiful and new again and fresh. And over the last year, we actually opened up a brick and mortar retail shop. So that's kind of how we rebranded. We were Picture Perfect Kitchen Designs for 10 years. And then over this last year, we rebranded as Picture Perfect Kitchen and Home, adding in that home section of our business. So we have a beautiful retail shop in the front of our brick and mortar. And that also duals as our show, kind of like our showpiece with the kitchens. And there are displays, but they're also working appliances. And so we're able to do events and all sorts of different things. And then we have our design studio, which is where we're in right now. So this is where we do our private presentations with our clients and we walk them through our samples and doors, colors, finishes, countertops, all of those good things. And then we have our offices in here too. So that way the team kind of has a home base and we're able to collaborate together, do team meetings, team building, all the things. So
very cool. That's awesome. And you said retail. Give me some ideas of things that you added in that retail space.
Yeah. So I think when I first, we were kind of concierge for 10 years, meaning we went into the home, we brought in the samples, we brought everything kind of to our clients, and we still do a lot of that. But what happened as the business grew over the years is the team grew larger. So we have a staff of 8 now. We needed a space for them in a kind of like a pretentious showroom just didn't appeal to me. The same as offices, like, oh, that's kind of boring, So we introduced the retail bit of it as a way that we could share all of our favorite things that kind of align with kitchen, decor in the kitchen, wellness, bathrooms, kind of that whole bit. So we sell different jams and marmalades. We sell entertaining ware, so cutting boards, spreaders, all the things, beautiful scented candles, just kind of, touching a little bit on gift, but still in that realm of like that housewarming gift, the perfect housewarming gift, or the perfect girls' night out gift. Maybe it's a spirit infuser with a couple of margarita glasses that are unique and, just candles and things to make the home warm and cozy and just kind of tie in with that kitchen theme essentially. Yeah. And the bathroom theme too, a little wellness and wonderful soaps and different, things that you would have in your bathroom. So
yeah, cool. I love that. So you not only get to design like your dream kitchen or bathroom, but you also get to pick out little fun things for it as well, or even thinking of someone else that you're going to a party or a birthday or something, you could get gifts while you're there. Like, that's awesome.
Absolutely. I think initially we thought it was going to be more heavily home decor, but your customers will tell you what they want very quickly. And so we did learn that we definitely had to focus on some gift items, and some ways to tie those in. But the cool thing is when we, work on the kitchen project and we implement that and we're, going through all those motions and we get to the end and we get to do our photo shoot, we actually bring in all these different items from the shop and we're able to stage all these gorgeous kitchens with items from the shop too. So the client gets to see their home, kind of all picture perfect out, and it's been really fun. And then they can choose to keep items and, have that be a part of their new space. And it's just great. It allows then customers that are coming in to be able to see how to use those pieces and where to use them in their home. And so we try to do some events like that too, where we're showing tablescapes and we're really just having fun with everything, because the remodeling industry is hard. So I think it helps us all keep our like lighter creative juices flowing.
I love that. And you also mentioned events a couple of times. What kind of events are you hosting in your new space, and how would people find out about that, or who would be good partners for that? Tell me more about the event.
Yeah, so we're collaborating with all sorts of creatives throughout, the local Tampa Bay area. And it kind of started off as we have products that we sell. And one of the things that I wanted to do was make sure we're highlighting local women business owners in our shop. So we do have a lot of items that are locally owned business owners, women owned, that we collaborate with. And then they can come in and do some of the teachings. So we have like, ooh, Saucy Queen. She's so much fun. She'll come in and do cooking demos, and she'll cook 3 different things using her sauces, and everyone gets to taste them. We also, we have candle making class, mixology class, a floral arrangement class, sushi 101's coming up. We have all sorts of things because we did make it so our retail space within those kitchens, all the appliances are actually functioning. So we have ovens and cooktops and, you know, all the things that the chefs can come in and do their thing. And so we've been having a lot of fun with that. But then the design studio is allowing us to do things creatively. We've even had like a nutrition coach come in and make protein balls, and everyone got like a batter bowl, and you know, it's been really fun. We've been having a blast with it, and our events are starting to sell out pretty quickly. You know, at first it was like crickets, you know, no one knew about us. Like, we're like, where's somebody at? Don't they want to come shop? Don't they want to come have fun? But you know, almost a year in, as far as the brick and mortar goes, we're starting to, you know, people like you're learning about us a little bit, and that's super fun.
Yeah, that is super fun. I love that you're just keeping it fresh and almost making it like inviting people over to your house, because it is kind of like your own kitchen. So,
oh my gosh, that's exactly the feel. In fact, that was my whole goal. I did not want a stuffy, like, you know, hoity-toity, where you have to come in and you're like, oh gosh, is a salesperson gonna, you know, pounce on me? We wanted it to feel like home. So it literally is built to feel like a home instead of like a showroom. And so that is exactly, we want you to come in, we want you to share our favorite things and just feel good about it and know, you know, what's coming and what could be in your space. So we love that.
That's awesome. And if someone's watching this, how would they find out about an event before it's sold out? Or an email list, or is it online? Like,
we have an email list. We just released 3 events last night. So exclusive first access is definitely our email list and our newsletters that they go out 2 to 3 times a week with different things. We share a recipe of the week. We release new events. Then we also do project showcases. So projects that we've completed and photographed and so forth. And then we do share it on Instagram. So that's Instagram and Facebook stories. We'll talk a little bit about the events coming up and have a post on that. And then also we have on our webpage an events tab that you can click on, and you can see all the upcoming events, and you can purchase a ticket from there. And we try to sprinkle in free events too, because we love bringing in a chef and just having them do a demonstration and cook delicious things. We had another partner that we retail their olive oils and their balsamics, which are just gorgeous. And she came in and she has a cookbook. So she did a book signing with her cookbook. She made 3 beautiful dishes with the balsamics and the olive oils. It was a blast. And that was a free event. So we like to make sure we're including the community in all the different ways.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm definitely going to be checking out your events, but now
you should. Mixology is coming up. So, you know, if you need a little night out.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
That's going to be a really fun one with Nightcap Social. So they're the Nightcap Social company. They're going to come in and lead that. And so that's super fun. Small world. They ended up being a past client of mine, and I had no idea when I first looked at them as leading one of the mixology. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I did their kitchen.
Like a full circle.
Full circle. Super fun. Love it.
Awesome. Well, when you're not having fun doing events, what kind of clients are really like the sweet spot for you? What have you found? Because you've been in business a long time as a designer. The space is the newer part, but you really probably honed in on who's like the best client for you and who fits really well with what you're very good at and your team's very good at. So tell me more about that person.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've enjoyed as being a business owner and being a designer is being able to have the flexibility to take on the smaller kitchens to the larger kitchens. And I think that's been really fun, and it shows your breadth. You're able to do, you know, compact spaces, which can be a little bit more challenging, but very rewarding, and just that refresh. And then, you know, you have the large spaces where it's carte blanche and you're just, you know, putting in all the things you dream, you know, that you could ever put in a kitchen. And those are super fun. But honestly, our sweet spot is right in the middle.
Mm.
So a gorgeous kitchen, medium to large, someone that really enjoys entertaining and they love their home and they love to cook and they want those appliances to help them function in their day-to-day life. And really their home is their space and they love it. So it's not a chore in doing it. We're just having a blast, like putting together their aesthetic and working on the functionality aspects of it, the organization and how the zones are placed according to how they live. A lot of busy families we do kitchens for, and that's been super fun. But then, you know, it can be so many different, you know, options for kitchens and placement on items. So we just go in and have a lot of fun with that. And it's kind of our ideal client though, right in the middle, I suppose, because we're in that sweet spot where we can make a beautiful kitchen and give them everything they need.
Yeah. Well, and even how you described it, it's like the ideal person is someone who values all those skills that you and your team have to really get the flow right, get the amount of storage right, get the organization right. Like, is this a person that loves 20 million spices or someone who doesn't, you know, just the little things like that. I can tell that's
Totally.
like, no matter what the kind of size is, medium or small, like that's what you guys love about what you're doing. It's very cool.
Yeah.
That's
you have
awesome.
your core and then you break out from there.
Yeah. So, and I know you mentioned earlier, like, you know, your industry can be tough sometimes. And as a business coach, I'm definitely aware of some of the, you know, there's been more customer opportunities in the last year or so, but staffing and supplies have been challenging. And so for you, what have been some challenges that you've seen and have worked on overcoming, or even willing to share some of the things you've done to overcome those challenges that you faced in the last couple of years? What are some things that have happened for you guys?
Yeah, honestly, it's been a rough ride. You know, everyone kind of had that moment in 2020 where it slowed for a minute, maybe even just a couple of months where it was that, oh gosh, is this industry just about to be like rapidly affected? And I was a designer in 2007, 2008. So, I mean, honestly, even before that. So I saw the rise and then the terrible, terrible crash. And I learned a lot from that time. So I'm very conservative in that sense of being prepared. But really what happened is the summer of 2020, the floodgates opened and people realized they were going to be there for a minute. And so we went like gangbusters. And initially the lead times weren't terrible. It was the appliance industry that was getting affected first. We weren't affected, plenty of wood, plenty of things happening still. And then it came to a screeching halt in 2021. And we went up to sometimes half a year to get cabinetry. So from the design process to ordering to actually implementing. And I think the worst part wasn't necessarily that, right? Because you could still live in your functioning kitchen during that time. You didn't have to deal with anything terrible. It was just like, oh, that's a pain. We have to wait a long time for our cabinets, but we're still gonna, you know, be in this zone where we're able to work in our kitchen. So I think what really hit us the hardest is when things started showing up because of all those challenges that those other businesses and manufacturers were having too, things weren't showing up maybe correctly, or they weren't showing up as good a quality as they were before. So we were having to do lots of replacements, lots of damage control. The delivery companies were having to hire young kids like straight out of high school with no realization of what a cabinet, just one cabinet costs, let alone a kitchen that would come in with 6-7 cabinets cost, you know, damaged. And so that was just some of the bigger challenges, was getting those replacements. The job stretched on forever and it was really disheartening. And it's so hard when you know all you've done to build up your business to that point and all the things you put in place to make it a good experience, you had no control over. And that was extremely stressful. And honestly, we're still dealing with some of it. So we see little like lights and then they kind of like go away and we're like, wait, we saw that, it was coming, come back to us, we need the light.
Right.
So it's been a challenge. I'm not going to lie. It's been mentally a challenge too. You know, you just got to get up and do it again the next morning, and you got to hear the next piece of bad news and you have to deliver it to your client, and you have to be ready to take, you know, you're almost like a sponge. You take the bad news from your manufacturer, you take the bad reaction from your client, and you just have to absorb it and show up for your staff and your team and, you know, really try to make it work.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know, like, I've talked to a lot of business owners about this, and I've heard so many great learnings from what's come out of this. I mean, anything from the fact that we're comfortable on Zoom now and being able to do what we're doing right now to, finding new vendor partners or, finding new ways of recruiting. Are there some lessons that have stuck with you, that maybe even the mental game of it, that you're still finding or utilizing today?
Well, interestingly enough, we were really well adept in the Zoom world. We
Mm,
had been virtual for probably 5 years by that point.
wow.
So I will say the blessing in that was like we didn't miss a beat. We were doing business same as usual, as far as that, and we didn't have to pivot. We were fully set up to be remote. I've always had a mentality of like, yes, we have this brick and mortar here, and yes, it's a great team space, but my team doesn't necessarily have to be here every moment. They don't have to work from here. They can work on the job site. They can work remotely. Whatever is the balance for their life, I think is what I want that to be. The retail shop obviously being a little bit different, but the design studio and the design end of it is that. So luckily we didn't have to pivot terribly from that. But yeah, I mean, I think you develop a skin for it. We had to adjust so many different things in our workflows and realize that our old ways were not going to cut it, and they weren't going to align with the project. And so we've had to make some different adjustments, and we've definitely had to really just refine our vendors. You know, I don't know if there's any one particular thing I can say, oh my gosh, this was amazing. Like this came from that. But definitely just developing that, like when you think something's going to go a certain way, it doesn't, and you can still come back, you can still
Yeah.
take on, the next thing. And so I think it's just learning that this is life. It's going to have all sorts of things come at you, and you just got to be tough and push through it and figure out the next step. I think that's the biggest thing, is just be ready to pivot at any point.
Yeah, I think that's amazing that you kind of end with that, because I was getting that kind of theme the whole time you were talking about already being remote and already being kind of in this space of how do we hit
Yeah.
our lines. And so
I
when
mean, I
you
wish I could say, oh my gosh, that was the
I know.
takeaway. It was amazing. But it wasn't. It was like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Yeah,
Is this going to get better? And I think it's really just, it's the worst part is the client. You just want them to be so happy and
right.
go from having these like wonderful relationships with clients, and like honestly half of my clients we're on amazing terms, friends, and you just like, hey, want to catch a coffee? And so to disappoint people that you really want their project to go well and have it out of your control has been the hardest thing mentally for me. I take it to heart, and you just have to show up and do it again. So I
Yeah.
wish I could say, yay, rah, rah. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
but
I'm
we're
just
still
ready to
kind
like
of in
go
it.
back to making clients happy. That's really
Yeah,
where I'm at. So I think that's the
love
retail
that.
part, is like someone can come in and they can buy a candle, take it home, light it, and just be like, oh, it smells so good, or they can
Yeah.
buy a special sauce that we retail and we can give them a recipe and they can go make dinner for their family and it's super tasty, or they can invite a friend over and I gave them a 2-minute put it together appetizer that's super easy, and they're like, yes, I can have a friend over and I don't have to prepare hard. So those are the light and warm and fuzzy things I think the retail shop has been able to bring us during the tricky time.
That's awesome. And it still keeps that interaction. And do you guys, besides the events, which is such a great offer to get in the space and kind of get to meet you, if someone's really interested in working with you and working on a kitchen or bathroom, do you have kind of an initial offer or something, or things that you have running right now, maybe a special or introduction or any of that?
Well, a lot of times it really depends. We have our intake coming from so many different places. It could be from
Mm,
Instagram, it could be Facebook, it could be word of mouth and referrals. And sometimes they do just walk in, and it's nice because I think that's what the retail part has helped us do, is let's just say you aren't in the market for a kitchen, but you come in and you come visit us maybe every other month or so, pick up a gift or a little something that you've fallen in love with, but you have a flood in your home. Something
mhm.
happens unexpectedly, and all of a sudden you're in that space where you do need a kitchen, where you do need a bathroom. So I think that's been lovely to be able to have. And we start off every kitchen with what we call project chat, whether you walk through the door and chat with Alicia, our shop manager, and kind of she just gets an idea of what you're looking for in the project. Or if you call in off of the internet, you stumbled across our page, or maybe someone stumbles across this podcast.
Yeah.
We do that 30-minute free project chat. So we really discuss what you're looking for. We tell you about us and what we're doing and how, the steps are going to go if you were to book a consultation with us. And we just take that time to kind of answer some questions and go over things that they may need to know before kind of progressing to that next step of the consult. So we always offer that 30-minute, free project chat. And sometimes it goes an hour because we're just into it and we're really, getting the feel for what they're looking for. So
Oh, well, that's a great first
really
step.
nice.
Yeah, just to be able to talk it through with someone and see kind of where you are with budget and things that you want, but maybe don't know if they're possible, and just kind of talking through all that.
Yeah. And I think originally we just assumed that the walk-ins would come in and there'd be a designer on staff that would speak with them and just take it right from there. But what we've actually realized is that actually chops up the flow a bit too much. So a designer could be in the middle of a virtual, or it could be in the middle of a review, or we could be placing an order, which we do a really comprehensive back end process. And then that takes you out of that. And sometimes the first chat, like I said, can take 30 to 60 minutes. So I think setting aside that time for the client that's just dedicated to them, there's no pressing thing upcoming that needs to cut that short, or, giving them that full attention, that's been a little bit of a different spin than what I initially thought it would look like,
Cool.
So
That's a great insight. And I think that's something other business owners can think about is, the distractions that we live in just in general with technology, like how to really put the time aside for some of these conversations so that you are really focused and you don't feel that something else that you're in the middle of. So I love that. To end, this is one of my favorite questions to ask, but what really inspires you and motivates you? Like even on the toughest days, what got you up and ready to tackle those challenges and face those hard news that you had to break? Like what keeps you going?
Yeah, I think the knowledge that like when one of our clients has their kitchen complete and they can just stand back and actually pinch themselves, like this is my house, it's real. And I think knowing that it will happen, we're never walking away. We're never giving up. We're pushing it until it's finished. We're pushing it until you're happy. And, maybe along the way, we can't control the overall full experience, but we can control the end result, which is a gorgeous kitchen. And I think that's what keeps me going, because I know that feeling. I know when we moved 6 years ago, we bought a 1984 fixer upper. I mean, I'm talking about, I think some of the light bulbs in the house were original. Like that's legit how, it was in 1984. And we moved from a fully remodeled house that we had worked on for years, and it was like very dark, very depressing. Honestly, I might have been a little depressed for 6 to 8 months, in the beginning living there, because I would come home and just everything would be drab and old. And I mean, I remember cutting my thumb on the dishwasher panel, just different things. But when we remodeled the kitchen, everything just got lighter. Everything got brighter. And mentally, I would come home and just want to cook something, want to clean my house, want to have it beautiful, want to invite my friends in and like, let's have drinks, let's have, some apps. And I even remember one day coming home from vacation after being gone for a week, and I opened the door, just, you're lugging luggage and you're walking in, and I just gasped because I forgot that was my kitchen. I want everyone to get to have that feeling. It's amazing. And so I think that's what inspires me to keep going. And, being a business owner is no joke. It is not for the faint of heart. I have 2 children, a husband, friends, family, all the things. And it takes up a lot of your time. I mean, there's no 9 to 5 on this. There's nothing, that stops my head from thinking about the next thing, in the evenings or as I'm falling asleep. But knowing that that's what we get to accomplish at the end, that mental load is a big deal. And people don't often realize it or, know what an impact it's going to make on their day-to-day life. And so that's been really special to see that, and see that get accomplished over all these years.
Yeah, I love that. And you've given that to so many people now, all that like coming
hope
home and just being excited to be at home. I love
I
that.
hope so.
That's
They've
so
given me
great.
so much too. Like I said, great
Yeah.
friendships and great clients and just the, joy of working with them and having that opportunity. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for working with me." And I'm like, "Are you kidding? Thank you for working with me. Like, thank you for calling us and giving us that opportunity
Oh,
because it is special and you really get to know people when you're working in their home and in their kitchen and,
absolutely.
their family and even their children and pets. We have like favorite pets and favorite kids and all sorts of
Aw, I
things. So
love it. That's so awesome. Well,
yeah.
anyone who's watching this now knows, where your heart lies. And I would encourage any of you to go check out these events. They sound amazing.
Oh yeah. We have some
They're
fun. We
Yeah, like
spoil
go
you when
have
you come in.
fun. Pick up a gift and enjoy yourself.
Oh
So
my gosh, we'd love that. It is really hard in this Amazon world and everybody ordering online. It's hard to compete. So we appreciate every person that walks into the door and buys a little something because you're supporting a lot of families and you're
yeah.
creating a community and we're able to then do these events, have this space. And so that's super important. I don't know if people ever always realize that, but it keeps it going. And so, we love that and appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you supporting local businesses and being intentional about that. I mean, that takes intentionality and making those relationships and even supporting with the events. So those are all local people. So
Yeah,
it's
it
really
does.
awesome. I'm definitely going to check them out. And thank you so much for doing this. It's been so fun to get to know you better. And I look
Thank
forward to
you.
continuing the conversation with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Juliet. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. See you
Okay.
soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye.